Hello, welcome to WireMock Cloud Academy. GraphQL is a flexible API format, but its dynamic structure makes it harder to mock compared to REST-based services. WireMock Cloud supports mocking GraphQL queries so you can simulate GraphQL behavior during development and testing. It allows you to match incoming GraphQL queries and return custom responses. It also works with federated GraphQL setups, letting you stub individual services in a larger graph. Today, I'll show you how to mock GraphQL APIs in WireMock Cloud, including support for federated services. First, we'll start by creating a new mock API. Then we'll choose the GraphQL mock API type. We're going to choose manual creation mode, and then we'll specify a name. I'm going to choose Live Demo 2. At this point, we'll be asked to supply a GraphQL schema. We can do that by uploading a schema file or copying and pasting it into this text box. I'll use my smart clipboard to paste in this GraphQL schema here. I'll then choose Save Schema. And at this point, I can come over into our stubs list and see that we have our GraphQL mock data stub. We'll go ahead and test this using the Apollo sandbox. First, we'll grab the address of our mock API. Then we'll come into our Apollo sandbox and specify that into our sandbox URL up top here. And when we do that, the Apollo sandbox will automatically read the schema file of our mock API. It will also provide us a sample query based off of that schema. And we can go ahead and execute that query against our mock API by hitting this example query button. And we'll see we get data back from our mock API. If I run this again, we'll see we get different data coming back. A third time, a fourth time, a fifth time, each time getting randomized data coming back. Coming back over into WireMock Cloud, we can come into our request log and see those example queries being run. Let's take a look at our stub list and explore this GraphQL mock data stub. Down in the response section, you can see that we can enable dynamic response templating, and we can also set up some data generation rules. Perhaps we need to be a little bit more specific on how our strings are constructed, or maybe the way our Booleans are being returned, or perhaps the way that IDs are being generated. You have multiple options here to control the randomized data coming back from your mock APIs. Let's go back over into our request log and pick one of our requests. If I come down to the bottom, we can choose to convert this to a stub. When I choose convert this to a stub, we'll see a new stub is created here. Give this a name, fixed data, and decide that when this particular query is sent into the mock API, we're always going to respond back with the name Dan Perovich. And the date of birth will be 1982, 88. You can go ahead and save this. Now let's go back over to our Apollo sandbox and run this query again. And we'll see every time I run this, I am now getting a fixed set of data. However, if I change my query in any way by perhaps adding a different attribute, maybe the hobbies attribute, and we run our query, we'll see that I no longer get that fixed data as I'm now sending a different query to the mock API, and I'm back to getting randomized data. You can find details on the GraphQL mock API style inside of our documentation site. In here, you'll see a detailed example based off of what I've just showed you today, as well as more information about configuring the random data generation. Additionally, if you want to get into GraphQL Federation, we have a dedicated page specifying how this can be done using the Enable Federation option inside of the GraphQL schema configuration screen. As you've just seen, WireMock Cloud's GraphQL feature allows you to create virtual representations of GraphQL services for development and testing needs. Try it yourself with a free forever account at wiremock.io.